Take it. Take all the glory, Jesus. Take the glory, Jesus. Take all the glory. Take the glory, Prince of Peace. We glory only in you. Glory in you. All about you, Jesus. When we glory in you.
Give praise, children. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise, children. Our Father who has given us His arms that we can all feel like we're a part of this earthly heaven. Forgive us this day our daily weakness as we seek to cast our mortal burdens on your city.
Right, so we had to mellow it down after that powerful prayer. Lord, I use a word I shouldn't have used a while ago. Wax feed my mouth. Well, we had to calm things down after that powerful prayer, and we had to reflect on all that was said. But now we have to talk champs, and now we have to lift our spirits. You're tuned to Bess 100 FM, where you're getting the better vibes. I am Orrett Montague. JA is speaking. It is Friday, April 8th, 2022. Can you imagine? It is National Tacky Day. National Tacky Day. Now, when we say tacky, we don't mean that you need to fix up your clothing or whatever. We don't mean that type of tacky this morning. We're talking a serious tacky. We're talking the tacky that took it to the British for years. I'm going to have to tell you about the tacky revolution one morning. I can't do that now. But tacky should definitely be named a national hero. We support it 100%. St. Mary, where you say? Morning. We're going to have a conversation quickly before we go into anything else with Mr. Edgerton Newman. And you know that when we talk to the boss at Todd's, it is because something has developed in the transportation sector that should have your attention. And this week, and you know, if we talk things, then it must be this week. We hear that there was the shooting of a taxi operator on Tuesday in the vicinity of Dawkins Road near Portmore Mall. We say morning to our Portmore people, morning St. Catherine, and it's left the taxi drivers rowdy. There was some protests. Commuters left stranded, etc., as you'd expect. And now the unions want answers, and they want some guarantee that police won't just draw a gun and shoot taxi driver all the time in future. So we'll hear from Mr. Newman. Morning. Welcome to the program, boss. I hope that all is well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Montague. Morning to you and to your listeners.
Well, I don't know if you heard your intro, but I know that there is some uproar amongst taxi drivers in Portmore after a driver was shot by a police officer. Do you know the circumstances?
Well, to be honest with you, Sir Montague, the circumstances at the moment is sketchy. But we got information that this taxi operator was seen a few days before Tuesday engaged in a vehicle tussle, on the Hellshire Road. He was asked to stop and he drove away. It is understood that by most times the bike operator, the bike person or the officer will come in front of your car or beside your car, very close, wanted to bar you. So he drove in and maybe touched the bike, and there's a little shake there. Nothing happened, but the police officer came after him a few days later, saw him on Dawkins Drive close to the Portmore Mall, and decided to apprehend him. There was another tussle, and he, I understood, handcuffed the man and then shot him. That is what we understood from the incident. We believe this is a great injustice to the sector because it is not the first time.
No, but Mr. Newman, if nothing goes so, that's a gross injustice to the country. That is a breach. I don't know. Yeah, what you mean? I mean, I hear some things coming out of Russia. I hear, like in the region north of Kiev, that they've just freed up.
I'll tell you something.
You hear about these things happening, but I don't hear of it happening in free democratic places where war not taking place.
That's the point.
Police handcuff
even
people
before
and
I
shoot.
listened to the international news and heard of the same thing in Kiev, and the people hand would tie behind with a piece of white cloth and then shot. You know, we are not having a war in Jamaica. There's no war between the police and the transport sector. So why this happen? And what we are saying that the Minister of National Security, he's going around speaking all across the island on various issues, but this is worse than, I don't know, it's a criminal attack on the public transport sector. And we are calling for a high-level investigation. You know, the police high command won't say anything. How many days now? You know, because what? It's a taxi man. Not anything can happen to a taxi man.
Butcher in Portmore.
This taxi operator who providing a hell of a service to this country.
Butcher in Portmore. So who is the butcher? Butcher
is the police officer.
I don't know. Has any formal complaints been made? What is happening in the formal sense?
Well, I think there has been formal complaint on the situation. I think the Indicom has been notified and they were on location.
Okay.
The police high command in the parish has been notified and they call a meeting with the operators. And I advise them not to go, but I then changed my word and asked them to attend. I don't know if they attend a meeting the following night. That was maybe Thursday night, Wednesday night. So I don't know the outcome of that meeting as yet because I didn't have any interest in the meeting. I have interest in a public statement by the police high command on the matter, and the officer should be taken from frontline duty.
Of course, but where was he shot? Where was the operator shot?
What you mean in
what part
his body?
Of his, yeah.
I am not sure. It could be his upper shoulder, but I think I understand he's doing well in hospital right now. I mean, he's recuperating. Thank God there was the life was not taken.
There was there was a viral video this week, I don't know if you saw it, of a police officer on his bike holding his gun. Absolutely. You know, and the operator was trying to move from him reverse and he was down on the car. You know, maybe that police officer maybe don't like his life or he's trying to make a video. You know, some of these incidents is making a video from the police perspective, you know. You know, another police is there videoing and he's now creating a scene to show that the taxi man is this sort of person, a bad person. You know, you find out who made that video. It is a police officer who made the video and make it viral. Okay, that's interesting. Some of the videos that we've seen gone viral, like the videos of the bodies in Augustown. Remember that video?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it couldn't be anywhere else but a policeman's phone.
That is the sort of thing that we are doing here, you know, in this country.
Or the video of the gentleman, being pulled from under his bed when he insulted the Prime Minister. You remember?
He speak against the Prime Minister.
So you're quite right. The videos, the video this week, you're saying. There's the police make it. The video this week with okay.
And you see, and they come out open and say to you, don't video scenes like those because it's in the wrong and the family will feel away when they see those videos first. The fact is, who are making those videos? The civilians or police officers?
Well,
but you know, my concern really is the relationship between the police and the transport sector. From where I sit, in meetings, every meeting I call, the police high command from the traffic department is in that meeting at the highest level, and I commend them. They're working with us, but on the road, with the constable, with the corporal, is a different kettle of fish. They can have a different agenda from what is discussed around the table in the conference room of the police high command.
Indeed. I have to run. Thank you so much for the contribution.
Thank you very much for
this
having me,
morning.
my brother. We talk.
Thank you. Listeners, the head of thought there, Mr. Edgerton Newman. I must tell you, it's interesting that we had to be talking about police shootings, and I must tell you, the violence hasn't abated. So a little later on, we had to add to our agenda this morning Major Finzi Smith. We'll speak to him in the run-up to the 8:30. But right now we have to talk to Clyde Giordini. I must comment on some of the issues though that we have to touch with Major Smith, because we have to help you to understand how your kids, and I have to understand as well, how our children can be kept out of these gangs. The gangs are running amok, they're causing havoc in St. James. And I must say that when you lose life, especially the lives of persons who should be contributing positively to our gross domestic product, growing our economy, raising their families, being fathers and breadwinners, when you lose those lives, it is tragic. Every life is tragic, but it is tragic when it's smaddy, take it. You see, when it's not natural death and it's smaddy, take it, often over nothing. That is horrible. I can't imagine how they must feel. Like, for example, there is a gentleman, Leroy Service, 34-year-old. He's a farmer, murdered from Lilliput. A young youth, Rashid Stewart, 17-year-old boy, again, murdered in Lilliput. And the police this week have been blaming the gangs, and it's worth looking at why gang violence is getting so out of hand in Lilliput, and why these gangs are so attractive for young people. We are glad that some young persons are attracted to things other than gangs and violence, and they're attracted to things like sports and music and entertainment. So we're going to have a conversation with the big boss. Well, somebody just tell me the one them went a scammer. Oh dear. We're going to have a conversation with Mr. Clyde Giordini to speak to him about some young people entertaining us this week, keeping us on our toes, who are neither scammers. We sure, we hope, we are and they're not murderers for sure. They're not in these gangs running riot out in Lilliput. Is Mr. Giordini online? Welcome to the program. Good morning, boss. I hope that's all is well.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to your listeners.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How champs are go so far?
Well, looks like the youngsters are more importantly enjoying themselves. Glad to be out. Good to see the crowds coming back and the interface with the boys and girls and the schools by and large island-wide. So good to see we're opening up back, and it looks like a safe environment, well organized by ISA, and the children and by extension the parents and the school and communities are getting back together. So
they look like they missed it.
Yes, definitely.
I can imagine. I heard two people arguing about whether it was 1 year or 2 years that we missed champs. It was 1 year or 2 years that we missed champs.
Well, 1 year, really.
1 year, yes, indeed. And Edwin Allen, we hear Edwin Allen and Casey going into today's events leading.
Yes, they are leaders after the first couple of days, and both teams have done well, and both of them have a sizable lead at this stage.
So we hear Level, the gentleman from Edwin Allen, he is going into events today with a time of 21:78. What could that mean? Yeah, that's for the 200.
Right.
Do we have any champs among these champs coming up?
Any what?
Any champions, future champions?
Well, all of them are champions, in your own
Any
right.
bolts?
They start from that, and then as they do it now, they'll go up against their rivals in the schools within their age cohorts, and then we see how they perform under the intense pressure and expectation. And some of them, as you see, are overjoyed and lose the plot and make mistakes and remind themselves that we are all human, even at the best time when we think we have been training for 3, 4, 5, 6, or 8 months and we don't make mistakes. You do, because that's what life and the sport is about. So yes, they're all champions in their own right. Out of, I mean, let's take for instance, you mentioned Level, who won the boys class 1, the Stella event, along with the girls class 1, and I would think you had probably about 8 qualifiers, and they would have come from people having to make the cut and make the times in development meets and track meets coming up. So you probably had in the region of about 100 or so kids island-wide who have come through that event, and if you make it to the champs itself, you have been a champion because you have made some progress. And if you make it to the semi-final and then into the final again, you are certified as a champion. But only one person will carry the title. So I mean,
it does sound like we're looking...
If we use the hard pass mark of just the winner being the champion, that's 1%. That's 1 out of the 100 people who participate. So in reality, that is just the title holder. But they're all champions.
On the girls' side, which school is he taking it?
Well, Edward Allen far and away is there. Heidel seems to be the main challenger, but as Coach Corey Bennett had said and continues to say, he doesn't have the depth of squad, or for this year didn't get the finances that they and other schools hope that kids would be training and participating, that you not just have a good team, but you have a team in depth, and you can have numbers and quality prepared over 4 or 5 month period to bring them to champs to perform. Remember, it's just in the last couple of weeks that the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DRMA, has been lifted. So a lot of the kids and their parents and school community who were against the vaccination, I think it must be 20 or 30% island-wide, weren't thinking that they could participate because they hadn't taken the vaccination, and some wouldn't take, and some were hiding. So now that is lifted, you can't just get up and start running, or be selected because you weren't prepared. So a lot of kids would have missed, and probably by the next time around, you see them coming out.
I don't know. Or the champs thing normally take a lot of fever. It normally attracts so much attention and so much public coverage, and it's still doing some of that. But I think you're right. The COVID just before the recent lifting of the act, what type of impact is that having on spectators? Is the spectatorship the same level that we normally see at champs in your view?
It isn't. And like everything, it takes time to close down shop, and it takes time to open up shop, and people to peep out and see and look and listen and put their ears to the ground and get a feel of the murmur. If there's an earthquake coming, a stampede, or everything is so smooth, to get the lay of the land. So some people going to be cautious. Everybody has gotten used, even more than before in the last 2 years, to staying home and watching things on their phone or on television or your laptop, or to be inside. And so some people not going to come back out into the crowd, are going to be very selective who, where, when, and how. And some people going to be running out there in a hurry, just enthusiastic to be free again.
Even the merchandising this year doesn't seem as vibrant as it used to. I mean, I passed a lady this morning in her purple KC jumper and her purple KC jacket and her purple KC mask. Okay, but it's not the usual fever of merchandises that you'd normally see when you go through the shopping districts.
Definitely, and the vendors, like the supporters, are going to be timid at first, and the vendors going to have to invest and prepare and make these things and put out money, and money is not as available as it was before. The cost of living has gone up astronomically. The US dollar is over 150, so that is way up in there. So people have to live, and people have to eat, and people have to survive. That has been the modus operandi for the last 2 years. So it takes a time to come, and then we get the little extra money as disposable income. You have to choose whether you can watch it or if there you go. Buy a meal for your family.
Wow.
So It's going to take a little time to come back to normal, and those things will come. But I think you'll see a burst around the champs fever today, and then tomorrow the big galas super Saturday. I think you'll see something that is probably close to what it was before. But let's wait and see how that goes. But it's good to see that it's going in the right direction, and
but
people are still being cautious.
We don't expect no surprises on Super Saturday, though. We expect Edwin Allen, KC. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, that's the expectation, and I think as a judgment that looks like Jamaica College would have something to say about KC, about KC walking away. And I'm sure Heidel, if they get a chance and get into finals and securing points, and you have one and two little missteps or mishaps, as happens in all champs, and they see they can chase Edwin Allen in the girls section, they surely will. Or anybody else.
Are those the only two? Are those the only two upsetters you say likely coming in to spoil?
At this stage, with the new formatting of champs of spreading the finals and events over more days, and I like it very much because it takes a lot of the pressure, physically and mentally, and in terms of organization of everybody, and it. As we've been doing, it has a social distance ring to it, because it puts everything in the right space, and so kids can run once or twice a day rather than 3 or 4 times, and then the injuries would multiply. So I like it, and I hope it works well. And let's see after the analysis how it goes, and the organizers and the athletes and the coaches give their view on it. But I like it very much.
Indeed, boy, we thank you for the contribution. I must say, if I was a betting man, I would cast my bet already for KC and Edwin Allen.
I would join into, but both of us don't seem to be betting persons.
Someone is asking me.
Enjoy.
Someone is asking. A listener is asking what happened to Calabar. What happened to Calabar? Why are we not calling C-Bar name this
chap? If I heard the point standing last night were joined 3rd and 43, but they too. They have changed coaches, and they have said while they will challenge if there's a slip up here or there, I don't think, from hearing what the coaches have said, they don't have the depth, and they haven't been preparing as they would normally, because a lot of the kids weren't in training. So they're not putting expectations out of reach, so they're taking it in moderation and doing the best they can.
Another listener is asking what happened to Veer.
Veer has always been there or thereabout, and would come in, I would think, that top 3 to 5 challenge on the female side, you know. So I think they would be in that chasing pack, but a little bit behind Edwin Allen and a little further behind to Heidel.
I don't want to feel no way about this listener's question, but who have the greater push, the female champs or the male champs?
Well, it has always been traditionally the male champs. In the last year or two, and in this one, the females clearly are the highlights, with the Class 1 girls, with the
that is what the listeners expected.
And Granny Liston. That clearly is the stellar event for champs this year.
So we're looking out for girls this year at champs.
Girls in the headline. A little ahead of the boys this year.
Indeed. Well, we thank you so much for the contribution. We're looking forward to Super Saturday. I tell the listeners where my bet would go. Neither myself nor Mr. Juridini are betting men, so we're not expecting any. But thank you. We'll see how it goes.
My pleasure. All the best for you and listener.
You too. Listeners, Mr. Clyde Juridini, sports commentator, big football manager. Of you, we have to tell you, the boss right. If you're betting on champs this year, you might be. But you can imagine with all this preaching and JC come take it. Well, there is still hope. So there is still hope that JC could flip the script on Casey and Edwin Allen. Of course, you hear what the boss say. You have to watch out for that team from Ferry. It's out of Ferry they come from, no? Out of Ferry? Yes, it's out of Ferry they come from. A little volume. I'm telling the people the lineup as we run to the 8 o'clock.
Forgive us this day our daily weakness as we seek to cast our mortal burdens on your city. Amen. Oh
we're back. I must tell you, we're speaking a little later on, as we had announced. To sorry. Yes, I like the music too. Thank you very much. We so say we mornings to YouTube people. So go to YouTube and say we mornings. We'll speak a little later on, as I was saying to Miss Jacqueline Bryan, and she's the president of the Social Work Association. We note that the Prime Minister has been talking about this new Emergency Powers Act to come to the Parliament, and we think it fitting that this morning we look at one of the things that had been promised under the ZOZO, the Zones of Special Operation, that did go to Parliament and did pass the Parliament and did seem a good solution to some of the crime problems that we have in this country, particularly some of the problems that we see rising head out in Lilliput in St. James. And we say morning to St. James people. We pray that peace will come to the West, and we pray that the violence doesn't continue to permeate. Even St. Mary, over 1,000% the increase in murders in St. Mary. It's not a whole heap. It's over 1,000%. So I'm not going to give you the double digits figure. I'm just going to tell you it's over 1,000%. Because if one murder took place and 10 take place now, then that is 1,000%. It is very shocking that we can be having these types of killings, especially at this time. I shouldn't sound like this time. Yes, and the Prime Minister comes with a new legislation to take to the Parliament when we're still waiting on full rollout of the first one, the Zones of Special Operation. So the Ministry of National Security is doing some projects with other ministries. They call it Together We Serve You. They call it Together We Serve You. And they call it a social workers fair. So we're going to talk to the president of the Social Workers Association, because much more than a fair may be needed. And we could find out why more social workers haven't been dispatched to deal with the ZOZO situation. And we'll speak to that gentleman from the Ministry of Security. We're not going to ask him any tough questions. Because we know him is not the minister. The minister Naga can take the tough question. Because we're going to go into family business and all of that, and who own which house and which part boy did fine and all of that, and the minister Naga want them the question. You understand? It's like you don't want to question the gentleman whose home a dead man was found in on his settee because him going under stress. Well, you don't want to put the security minister under stress. So we won't ask the gentleman from the security ministry anything difficult. But we will ask how the security ministry can ensure that more of these Together We Serve You projects and opportunities reach communities that are currently plagued by gang violence, because it was promised a part of the solution that came with the ZOZO, connecting our peoples, many of them unattached from work, unattached from a lot of the young people getting wild in gangs are totally unattached. Is this one you find, my boss? Lioness on the Rise? Yeah, man, a little volume, because I'm going to have to tell the people why I'm playing it now. Go on, a little volume. Yeah, so we need to see more of that. I'm looking forward to the conversation, Jacqueline. Yeah? Volume from the Lioness.
Never say never, willingness forever to fight and be strong. Once it's for better, I'll write every letter and moving right along. And I'll roll with the punches, accept changes, work with the formula, do what I have to do, and call me by my name.
Boy, I must tell you, while Kamina Johnson Smith is trying to remove Baroness Scotland from the post of Secretary General, and I must tell you, Baroness Scotland, great lady. You hear the name Baroness. We're going to tell you a little bit about her later. I find it interesting. Yes, we hear the argument that there's split to come in CARICOM and all of that. But I find it interesting and lovely that two women have grabbed our attention in this type of way to be leading the Commonwealth. It is lovely. It tells us that women are becoming ever more independent. I know there's a caller right now that way won't cost me. If I tell me that I'm feminine. Morning, boss. I hope all is well. And we're going to roar when we go to the 8 o'clock. We're roaring because we have to drop something American for this roar. We note the black woman who is Vice President of the United States and who will become president if anything untoward happens to Mr. Biden. Almighty God protect Mr. Biden. But if anything untoward happens to Mr. Biden, is a black woman, Mr. Putin going to fail. Mr. Putin, you ever have a black woman to deal with it? I tell you, a black woman joins the Supreme Court of the United States this week. She was confirmed yesterday by the Senate. Her name is Ketanji Brown Jackson, and she is the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court. I must tell you, the U.S. Supreme Court is one of the most powerful institutions in the world, and it is hard to imagine that less than a century ago, the same court supported Jim Crow laws. And now that court has a black woman added to its benches. It was a promise made by Mr. Biden as he approached the elections, and it's a promise kept. We run to the break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the conversations continue. Of course, we have to share some of what you've been telling us, so we have to call roll. JA speaking. I'm Orrett Montague, and you're tuned to Bess 100 FM.
We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. A missile strike on a railway station packed with civilians escaping the fighting in eastern Ukraine has killed at least 39 people. The mayor of Kramatorsk, where the suspected Russian attack took place, said 4,000 people were at the station at the time, mostly women, children and the elderly. The BBC's Joe Inwood describes why so many people were there.
There was an attack on the railway line yesterday which caused the huge build-up of crowds. We've heard about thousands and thousands of people at the station, leading to this huge death toll. Now, the reason so many people were there is because they were stranded, and they were stranded because of a Russian attack, which just makes this seem even more cynical, even more calculated, if those reports are true.
The governor of Ukraine's northern Sumy region, Dmytro Zhivitsky, has said on social media that the Ukrainian military has regained full control there. The city, close to the Russian border, was the scene of heavy bombardment and fighting early in the invasion. The BBC's Dan Johnson reports.
Sumy saw some of the most intense fighting of the early stages of the invasion. The city's in the northeast of Ukraine, close to the border with Russia, and it's home to many international students. Large parts of the city have been destroyed by shelling, but the local governor says the area is now free from Russian military control. However, he warned residents it's still not safe to return until mines and unexploded bombs have been cleared.
After the Russian withdrawal from northern areas, Ukrainian officials are counting the civilian dead. 26 people are known to have been killed in Borodyanka near Kyiv. The Ukrainian president says the final number of dead there is expected to be much higher than in the town of Bucha. Further north, near Chernihiv, the BBC's seen evidence that more than 100 people were held captive for almost a month. The United Nations says the war in Ukraine has contributed to a rise in world food prices of more than 12% in a month. Russia and Ukraine are both major exporters of wheat, corn, barley and sunflower oil via the Black Sea. Russia's invasion has stalled Ukraine's external trade. Jonathan Josephs reports.
Food prices are at their highest since records began 60 years ago, according to the UN Food Prices Index. Vegetable oils have seen the biggest increases. The war in Ukraine has cut off supplies from the world's biggest exporter of sunflower oil, which means the cost of alternatives have also risen. It's also a major producer of cereals, including maize and wheat, whose costs have risen sharply too. Even before the war, a series of different problems around the world was suppressing food supplies and pushing prices up. That's fueled a cost of living crisis that is worrying politicians and has sparked warnings of social unrest.
Jonathan Joseph's reporting. World News from the BBC. Officials in the Chinese city of Jilin say they've brought the COVID outbreak there under control, but Shanghai has reported a daily record of 21,000 cases. Both cities remain under lockdown. Stephen McDonald reports.
Jilin City has been under a strict stay-at-home lockdown for 33 days. However, there's been no indication when people there will be allowed to move around the city again. As Shanghai struggles to feed its population, it's recorded another record high number of daily official cases. The Shanghai Health Commission said of 130,000 infections in the current outbreak, only one person is in a severe condition.
Representatives of COVID vaccine donor countries are meeting in Germany to try to address the wide gap in vaccination rates between rich and poor nations. Gavi, the vaccine alliance that leads the COVAL global distribution scheme, says money is urgently needed to balance out supplies and fund immunisation campaigns. The Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett says he's granted the security forces full freedom of action after the latest in a wave of attacks by gunmen last night. In a public address in Tel Aviv, he said there wouldn't be any limits in fighting what he described as this war. Early this morning, after an hours-long manhunt, Israeli security forces shot dead a 28-year-old Palestinian who'd killed 2 people after opening fire in a Tel Aviv bar. 3 were seriously wounded. The string of deadly assaults has now left 13 people dead. Dozens of civil society organisations have called for more to be done to end the violence against civilians in Africa's Sahel region. Military efforts have struggled to prevent jihadist groups from gaining strength there. This comes after allegations that the military in Mali, along with Russian mercenaries, killed around 300 people living in an area under the control of Islamist militants. BBC News.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
My station.
Moving. Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bess FM. Keep listening.
Hello?
Nadine?
Yeah?
Me just pick up one Maxfield Easterbun up by supermarket phone.
One Maxfield bun nah go do.
Nadine, that is all I could afford.
Uncle Pat, Daddy, and Jeffrey only eat bun back. And bun only come with front back and back. So where the next back I go come from?
If you want more Maxfield Easterbun, go up at the supermarket or check maxfieldbakery.com.
Yeah, I forgot send credit for put on service then.
Come on from my phone. Sure. Maxfield Easterbun. Tweet to the max.
Do you want to maintain trust in your relationships? Be it your spouse, your child or children, your friends, your family, your associates. It would make you more happy knowing that our consciences are free and we live to be the best that we can be. Yes, honesty. Be honest in what you say or do, because in essence, you are doing unto others as you would have them do to you.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose a problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies. A. Authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B. Better service including free island-wide delivery. C. All major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
The Best 100 FM.
He's coming back.
Yes, indeed, it's redemption time with Apostle Clive Campbell, presenting a life-changing, life-challenging message to encourage, inspire, and motivate you towards your destiny. Every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. and on Saturday from 9 o'clock until 10, right here on Best 100 FM. It's redemption time.
I'm standing firm.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag. Buongiorno.
We are
the Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience, a 30-minute program with Royton McLaren every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Your Monday nights will not be the same again. Managing stress, trauma? Let's talk on youth empowerment and resilience with Royton McLaren on Best 100.5 FM every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
Value yourself, man. Believe in yourself. It starts with the love of self. The money and the clothes are right, but what matters is a positive mindset, a hopeful spirit. Yeah, man. No focus on things, man. Things don't make the man. Man make the things. Self-love is the greatest love higher. Stop look left and look right and look into yourself. I want to you. Live up. Keep it positive and live your life. Now watch the hype. All a meditation, don't you lose your mind. Live up, don't give up. Slash said that. Man.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Are you ready? 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 When the roll is all out, I'll be standing taller to face the darkest and the hardest of times. We'll be taken care of.
Welcome back. JA is speaking. I'm your host, Orrett Montague, and we come to you live from the studios of Best 100 FM, where you're getting the better vibes on FM 100.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. We stream live at www.bestfm.com. You can pick up that stream on YouTube at Best 100 FM or at Monty O, MONTYOJA, one word. I must tell you, it's 14 minutes past 8 o'clock. We're going to send morning to a YouTubers, YouTube people. Then we're going to make sure so we anybody who they get promise credit and etc. After we make sure we fix that up before we open phone line. We open the phone lines to you after a quick conversation with Major Robert Finley Smith, because we have to talk safety every time these violent stories, episodes emerge. We have to talk safety, and we have to tell you what you can do to keep yourself out of some of the chaos happening around you. Senseless, the Gleaner calls it this morning. Senseless, the Gleaner calls it this morning. The murder of an 8-year-old in Clarendon. The third death to rock the school in 3 weeks. Or 2 weeks, the Gleaner said. This after the body of a 17-year-old young man was found in a ditch in the west. That young man, social workers went out and found him and brought him back to school. He was found on one of the programs that the government launched to get the kids who were displaced, lost out on education because of the coronavirus, back into the system. So senseless killings this week. We have to say morning, a hefty morning indeed, to Earl Brown. We're going to go into the roll call. Boss, take us into the roll call. I'm so sorry I spoiled your vibe like this, but it's roll call time. We have to say morning to a friend Earl Brown. Him said 300 killed in Mali by army. 300 killed in Mali by the army. You see, whilst this conflict is taking place in the Ukraine, so many of the world's dictators and terrorists are up to the worst. So many are up to the worst. And it is sad. It is very, very unfortunate. In Ethiopia, for example, the war against the TPLF continues. The TPLF have battened themselves down in regions of Afar, 4 regions we understand. Humanitarian aid struggling to get into these regions. People suffering. We're hearing that Russia is on the run in the Ukraine. Mr. Putin says he's reorganizes his forces to take the east. Him done do what him have to do in the west. Him going to take the east. Him going to take the Donbass region, him say. So all fighting ain't there. Russia removed from the Human Rights Security Council, the Human Rights Committee of the United Nations this week. They were voted off that body. The only other country to have faced that particular dishonor, I must tell you, was Libya. Right before they removed Gaddafi. A little volume on the roll call.
Judgment day is coming. Judgment coming. Brother, sister, you better heed the warning. No repentance in the grave. Make sure your soul is saved. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. Roll call. Roll call. There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call.
We drop in roll. Sorry, I had to look at the people. There we go. We find them. We say morning and a hefty morning to Galloway Kevin. We say good morning to you, brother Monty, and everyone. Thanks for reaching out. Morning, boss. Minette Lawrence says good morning, Mr. Monty. I really enjoyed the prayer. Morning. Miss Lawrence, turn your cheek. Morning. I hear that the teeth fit somewhere else, but it's right here, so it's not. We say morning, a hefty morning to Truth to Power. We say good morning, Orrett. I went out. I want to. It looks like him want to say comment on the DPP trying to put down the public defender who was a senior prosecutor in the very office because she had findings contrary to her rulings. Yes, it looked like the public defender says most of police cut the little girl ear, but it looked like the DPP don't agree. I must tell you, make the court decide. Make the court decide. Make the court tell me. The little girl, you have Mr. Champagne, you don't have nothing doing. We know you're a busy man. You can't go give this girl some assistance. Come. When the member of parliament was murdered in Portland, you were quick on the scene. The young man got your full protection. If somebody pay you, we don't know who, but we know the young man couldn't afford to pay you because he was begging, if text messages are to be believed, money from the MP little before the murder. So how is it that this young lady needing so much care and protection, some good love and attention, can't get an attorney like Champagne behind her right now giving her some support? Young lady, you never kill no MP allegedly. Allegedly, we're not saying the young man killed no MP because the courts don't tell us so yet. But I must tell you, we'd want the courts to tell us, since DPP and public defender can't agree on how the young lady cut her hair, we know the young lady didn't cut her hair. But that is what we're being told now, so it's what we're going to say. Then, let the courts decide. We say morning and a hefty morning. I thank you, Donovan Hoylet. Him say morning, alright, morning. Alright, morning, massive. Thank you for that. Also, the fact that Brogard is still determined to use states of emergency for policing. He keeps on lusting after being an autocrat, like his mentor. You see, I'm just reading what people say. And this gentleman said Brogard keep trying to be an autocrat like a mentor. When Brogard just come in, I must tell you, I used to consider him Baby Bruce. But then I came to recognize that Bruce Golding, compared to Brogard, is an honorable man. Boy, Bruce, you're an honorable man. I must tell you, he never want none of the honors and all of that. But he's an honorable man. And so I said to myself that him can't be Baby Bruce because he would need to be an honorable man. I'm not saying that your Prime Minister isn't an honorable man. I just tell you what was going through my mind as I compared the two in trying to find a name for Brogard. This was when I was trying to find a name for Brogard. But then Brogard gave us a name, so we never have a bother find none. The name I eventually settled on, though, before Mr. Holness gave himself the name Brogard, was Baby Siaga. You know, like Haiti had Papa Doc, Baby Doc. Hefty morning indeed, Garth Grant. Good morning, J.A. Blessings to all. Earl Brown tells us, morning, Emperor Theophilus in the building. Said, Champs Day's over. We need to celebrate our inventors and scientists to make Jamaicans' lives much easier. Boy, thank you very much for that contribution. So you're saying that we should be hailing the goals from the people, the young people who are doing robotics at JC and doing well. The young people who picking up the programming and making all these little smart programs and all these. Yeah, we thank you. And you're right. We should hail them too. We should have a champs for young brains. We always say, always say. Morning. I thank you, Mr. Orrett. What do you think about the war that is going on in Ethiopia? War crimes committed by government and some of the groups involved. Indeed, all the while we're watching Mr. Putin out in Ukraine because white people with blue eyes dying. I must tell you, while the death of any civilian in these incidents is horrific, it is unfortunate that we're paying all of our attention to one set of events while these horrific events are taking place in Africa against our own skin and flesh. It is tragic what is taking place in Ethiopia. I hear them talking this week about the Russian soldiers raping 6-year-old children in Bucha. And other horrific stories will soon come out, obviously. But I must tell you, rape is taking place as well in Ethiopia. rape as a weapon of war. It's a war crime. It is taking place in Ethiopia too. It is taking place in Mali. The French have run out of Mali, and in their running out, the Russians said that they were going to go in. Not the Russians officially, but a Russian contractor that the government hire. Russia have these groups of people who form private armies, and governments can contract them. So the boss over in Mali contracts some. Emmanuel Macron facing election in France, so he never have no time to get into that quarrel. So him just say, all right, I'm taking my soldiers and I leaving, and him leave Mali. I must tell you, Mali was once a French territory, a French colony. So him leaving sends a lot of other meanings, and Russian mercenaries coming in sends a lot of other meanings, especially at a time when the conflict is brewing between the West and the East. It sends a whole Cold War-ish feeling. And I must tell you, our government should stay out of all of that. And the last thing you want to do right now is disrupt CARICOM and disrupt unity. And if Baroness Scotland want to lead the thing, make sure lead the thing. I know that Baroness Scotland is not liked by some in the United Kingdom. But CARICOM seems united behind her. She's a CARICOM national after all. She was born in our region. So as far as the region is concerned, a CARICOM national is holding the chair. Let the CARICOM national remain until time comes that she can stay no more. Which reminds me, Mr. Holness promised us term limits, and we don't hear that legislation coming. But we hear the former Attorney General, I don't remember the name of our ministry, don't quote me, going and telling press conference about or talking, putting on our agenda referendum about becoming republic. Well, it is easier to implement term limits. Bring the term limits. I hear the Prime Minister, the act that the Prime Minister wants to pass, as I just tell you, that act, emergency powers, that one, to give him more emergency powers. The listener here on YouTube call it what? Baby what? Let me go back to it. Let me go back. I want to quote the listener. I don't want to do it myself. I'm going to go back to it. Because if I do it myself, Sheppy go and call. And Sheppy and others like Sheppy, and the people who send Sheppy, they're going to call and they're going to say all type of things, and there's nothing green about what I'm saying. What I'm saying is clear fact. Baby Siaga wants to implement some powers that are at best suspicious, and at worst they could put our very democracy at jeopardy. So if that be the case, then you must ask yourself, what is the cost of your freedom? You must run to the poll. Even if you're going to put Baby Siaga back there, you can't put him back there with no big majority. What we're saying is, we don't know if the next side ready yet, but you still can't put Baby Doc there. Oh, I said Baby Doc? Oh dear. Oh my. That was a slip of the tongue, listeners. You must believe. If I didn't know, I would have asked the engineer to beep it out. I tell you the truth. I tell you, morning Al Cubelan. I said Toronto in the building, morning boss. Be alive today, good day. They are not around. They who? Earl Brown, good day. In the room. So let's big up the station. God bless. Reverend, this is Reverend Dr. Winston Hard in Canada. Thank you very much for the contribution. And who this? Rasasta Black. Morning. Yes, Soldier win Grammy. Soldier, I must tell you those Soldier have a lot of reggae in them, you know. It's white man, but them have a lot of, we have no Soldier can drop for the because the they're not dropping none. All them beat out the boss every year. When them go and throw up Chronics, I mean, Chronics wouldn't box nobody. If they diss Chronics wouldn't run on stage and box nobody. I can assure them. Them need to give Chronics a Grammy. It's not the Grammy Will Smith box anybody. I know it was at the Oscars. I'm just making the point. Okay, ma, said to the Bess says Gaviite on site. We're still on Commonwealth issue, still forward African small matters. I thank you for the contribution. I can't believe it is shameful, eh? You don't see the woman think it is a bigger post than the one she have now? The one she has now, where she has the great honor to represent the people of Jamaica amongst and in front of before kings and queens, prime ministers and presidents, before other similar ministers, before large international bodies, the United Nations, CARICOM, the OAS. But no, the lady wants to be the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. If you follow anybody who has been following republicanism across the Commonwealth, they would agree that the Commonwealth is losing its impact. Is she saying that Jamaica is losing its impact too? That she runs from Jamaica to go to the Commonwealth? Oh dear. Somebody recommend break it down from, is it this plane? Break it down, soldier. Let me hear if it sounds like reggae. Let me hear the volume.
Listen to the ocean calling, calling. I feeling raindrops upon my face. Living this life like a highway, turning in circles in a universe place. There's only
ladies and gentlemen, Soldier. Soldier, the winners. I think to sing reggae, you have to have patois first. I don't know. I might be wrong. You have to have patois first. And there is a little thing about reggae that you just can't. I wonder if you can drop some Bob Marley Stir It Up. Bob Marley Stir It Up. Back with teach Soldier reggae. Soldier, you don't have no bass. Eh? Wait, little volume on the Soldier. The people might disagree. Little volume on the Soldier.
Want permanent, but it's all changing, and the love that's in you is the love that's in me, and it's strong, only if you break it down. Yeah, you gotta break it down. The notes and the sounds and the melody surrounds, but you break it down. Amid the noise and hate, in the silence, but only when you break it down. We will be before and we will come after, and we are only the next chapter. There will be pain, there will be laughter. We'll sing about it. Yeah. I'll see you all in the next one.
Soldier, I tell you, this is Soldier. I must tell you, listeners, I had promised that this week we will start taking calls early, so we'll have to do some of that. I said, morning forward Africans, pick up Gabiism, Marcus the best says. And let's forward and stop joking around. Yeah, we're teaching Soldier reggae. Teaching Soldier reggae. Volume on the reggae. The singing don't start it, but you know it's reggae.
Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Come on, baby.
A redemption song for the people. Redemption, I beg you, redemption song. I must tell you, reggae have rhythm. So when you're dropping a love song, the love song have to have feeling behind it. I must tell you, Soldier, you sound like a white rock band. I don't want nobody vex. It's just the truth. It's just the feeling. Strange feeling. I tell you, it's just the truth. Volume on the reggae. Volume on the reggae.
All pirates get a rabbi, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit,
But my
and now they take the music, they gone and they run with it.
We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing?
Yes, indeed, we're singing songs of freedom. And Mr. Holness is saying that the Baroness is unfit for office because of allegations of corruption. Yes, there's some in the British circles are saying that. Then why is he fit to be Prime Minister? Physician, heal thy gravely ill self. Truth to power, we thank you for the contribution. It's not me saying. And back to Rasasta Black. He's saying that Soldier's album has Cornwall College connections. No wonder they won the Grammys. All right, my boss. We thank you. I have to run to the phone lines. We're going to talk quickly to Major Robert Finsey Smith because we want to go through our interviews timely and open the phone lines. We want to make sure the credit that was promised has been dispatched as well. So forgive us for not having a long roll call this morning. But you know how the roll go. We say a hefty morning to our listeners in Spanish Town. Sandra, I think you'd get wet. Morning, Sandra, right? Morning, Miss Panka, rock your ways. Morning. I hope all is well. We say morning and a hefty morning to our wonderful, wonderful Millers. Mrs. Miller, Miss Miller, morning. We say morning to Mary Lynch. Mary Lynch has been asking us to bring a pothole to your attention, listeners, so that the people at the NWA can hear. I'll get her to do it, to send you a nice voice note to tell you about the pothole, because I hear people doing it. So I say I go and pick up, since they're thieving things that we do, make we see if we can thief one of them. Monty, I heard John fantasizing that a Don Anderson poll is showing the PNP at 26% and the JLP at 25%. Do you think it could be real? No comment. They love try draw me into politics. Marcus, the more we criticize Soldier, the better they'll become. So we might want to watch that. Soldier good for reggae because competition is good. I don't know if you're familiar with social media. KMT. Ricardo Porter says, good morning, Orrett. Shout out to all the listeners from across the world. We're shouting out to all the listeners across the world, boss. Morning. A hefty morning, Glenn Goff. We have to say morning to our good friend Ras Remedy. Morning, Africa. Oh, Grand Spend. We say morning, Grand Spend, Barbican. Morning. We have to say morning to jungle people. A jungle with navel string cut. We say morning, Jez. We hope all is well. Puyat Street. Morning. A hefty morning indeed to our listeners in Clarendon. Miss Baxter, turn your cheek. Morning. I hope all is well, ma'am. Tense. We have to have a conversation, Morning. We hope all is well. The rest of the diaspora, we have to run to the conversation now with Major Smith. Is he there? Welcome to the program. Good morning, boss.
Good morning, sir.
Boy, it's senseless what the Gleaner calls developments in Clarendon before we go to what we have to talk about. And it's interesting that the Bob is in the background because the conversation that we're having has nothing to do with the pirates. It's about us robbing ourselves. And the 8-year-old that was killed in Clarendon couldn't have done any wrong to anyone. I know that the young man who was found in the ditch could have been tied up in all types of things in the coronavirus home stay period that the social workers took him off. But this young lady, 8-year-old, the young girl, couldn't have done anything to anybody. Out in the west, though, in Lilliput, is it that the hoodlums are killing each other? And should we see a difference?
It appears there's an ongoing dispute over what, I'm not quite certain. But there needs to be an ongoing dispute. And a competition to see who can kill more of who.
That is in Lilliput.
And the senseless thing about it all is that it is not done in Fairyland. Everybody in the area knows who is who and who doing what. If they want to sit down and wait until it becomes their turn, what can you say?
So you're saying members of the community are aware of who the problem makers are, but they're not telling the police? Is the police not aware? Because we hear that there's a gang that the police itself found 8 police officers to be in, or not. So, my apologies, 8 members of the security force. They didn't say if all 8 came from the police. But it would be hard to imagine that there's a community and the community is aware of who the problem makers are, and not one police officer know. That would be hard to imagine. I must tell you.
I once wrote something decades ago that could have been written last night.
Mm-hmm.
It says, on your mark, get ready, but don't you dare go. You want to live, you better sit down steady and watch the beast grow.
Who knows? I must ask you though, what would your advice be if the police is in your community, and what would your advice be to avoid this type of labeling if you're a youth in a community, because now Lilliput is under heavy police attention, and many youth might get caught up in this. We hear policeman shoot taxi driver. I must tell you, the officers are on edge, and you can understand that. You see some of the actions taken by the Russian soldiers. Can you imagine losing nearly 10,000 of your brothers? They're on edge, they're angry. So what can the youth in these communities like Lilliput do to not look like part of these gangs when the police come?
It might sound facetious, but you could go right back to COVID measures on your yard.
But that is not fair.
Is that fair to be lying in a coffin with your public bottles over your either?
No, but the solution to crime cannot be to rob Jamaicans of their freedoms.
It's not about robbing them of their freedom. You ask them about a particular community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that it is the government and the security forces' job to rationalize the situation.
Yes. Whilst
they are doing this, stay out of their way.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay. And what can you do if the gang is enticing you in your community? What do you do? You don't have no gang song from one of them new young ones like Skinny Bang that nice and clean. All of that is wrong. Nothing nice and clean that will come from Skinny Bang.
but what I can suggest, I'm looking at solution orientation now. Let me ask you a question. I hear you talking about this thing about soldier winning Grammy and all that. But let me ask you a question. When last have you heard a popular, this might thing, popular song, if you want to call it that, or music that has emanated out of Jamaica for the past 4 years that does not glorify use of weaponry or use of your sexual organs as weaponry?
Quite a lot, I must tell you. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I must tell you, quite a lot.
So now, if quite that has become the norm, and in very short order...
No, man, I'm saying to you that quite a lot of positive music...
Our culture.
No, but quite a lot of popular positive music has come out of Jamaica. So,
really?
Yes, man.
I won't tell you how
even from popcorn.
I don't know
Drop
them.
a popcorn for the boss. But seriously, Major Smith, what can young people do to avoid these gangs if they're being courted in their communities? Because I mean, some of the gangs are funded, for example, by lottery scamming, and you're being courted to the gang. Cause you see now all your brethren them driving big markets, and the lottery scammers without the murder. If they can, I don't know. You shouldn't do either, but definitely don't conflate the two. Yeah, don't conflate the two. Don't do them together. Please, because now you're building these mercenary armies that Russia have.
Yes, but I'm going to tell you something that you might or may not find interesting. It is almost, what is happening is almost correcting itself in its own way. The most popular vehicle nowadays runs up and down with people who have acquired them rapidly is the is it called Mark X?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the amount of fatalities from the Mark X crashes recently?
Yes, I've noticed because they can't really drive them in. They just can buy
Well,
them.
it goes a little deeper than that.
How deep?
There's someone who is removing the control chip from the computer in the vehicle.
Huh?
These things are computerized. Almost all cars are these days.
Yes.
And in the brain, the computer, there is what we old-time people used to call governor. It allows you to go to a certain speed and no more.
Right.
They remove that chip.
Oh. Because they want to go really fast.
What you have is an exceedingly powerful engine with no control. You can rev it to any speed you want in any gear.
Well,
that's in the hand of a young man or a young woman.
And they have these whole heap of murders.
Who just buy them license.
But it don't
decide to run.
It does sound like we can. There's anything we can tell the young people then to not because we're trying to come to what we can tell the young people so that they don't go towards these gangs.
Concentrate on owning something.
You mean
look around and decide what kind of business you would like to operate. And put all your efforts, research and
towards that.
The waking hours towards owning something.
Yeah. Business.
Don't go looking for a job. Try to figure out how you can own something.
If you're one of them people that can be gravitated towards all of that, try to figure out how you can have your own thing, own something. I like that. That is true. We have to run, but may just this is one of the positive dancehall songs that came out in the last 4 years. I must tell you, it's not strictly positive, but it definitely doesn't send out any of the messages that you described, and it's one of many. So I think that the Grammy people really haven't been listening to reggae well.
Here's the problem, sir. Jamaicans fix everything times two. So America says sex sells. Jamaica says vulgarity sell off.
Yes.
So even if you consider it positive, listen to it carefully. Somewhere in there's vulgarity.
Oh Lord. Well, I'm going to drop another one. Thank you very much for the contribution.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes, boss. A little volume on the popcorn. I must tell you, listeners, we're getting ready to run into a conversation, as we said, with the head of the Social Workers Association. But the popcorn and Beres Hammond, I was reminded that Beres Hammond is part of the song by our engineer. So I must tell you, powerful, and I can play a lot more positive songs that have been released in the last 4 years. So we don't really agree with the major's assessment, but all right, boss, if you want to avoid the gang and still have your things, build a business. Is she online? The wonderful, the Miss Jacqueline Bryant, the president of the Social Work Association, and she must be wonderful to be doing social work, because boy, taking out people's stress. Welcome to the program. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning.
I hope that all is well.
That is my profession. I'm a social worker and also president of the Jamaica Association of Social Work. Working at Haile Selassie High School. And we are promoting the fair Together We Serve You, the social service fair.
But in terms of social work, a lot of Jamaicans may not be familiar with what all of that is about when you have the fancy term attached. To tell the people what social work is, who social workers are, and about the Social Work Association. if you don't mind.
Okay. Social workers are professional. A lot of people assume that social workers are anybody who just give to the poor and who just provide some kind of assistance. But social work is a professional profession with academic discipline. We have practice, we have regulations, and we address social issues. We work with individuals, we work with families, we work with groups, we work with communities and societies on a whole. And our aim is to the population that we work with, to bring them to social functioning, to help them to determine things for themselves. We are facilitators. Let them get a collective responsibility. Look about their overall being.
Are a lot of your members involved in the community zones and things like that will see taking place?
All right, social workers are not only community social work. I'm a school social worker.
Yes, ma'am.
There's educational social workers.
Yes,
there are persons who are child welfare social workers, as in the child protection and family services agencies. There are social workers who work in the probation offices.
Right.
As it speaks to Ministry of Labor and Social Security, there are social workers who work there with the part office.
But all of that is
investigation.
All of that is community and targets community. So the social workers' prime function is community, even if it's from here. So
No. Yes, we do target community, but social work is divided into different segments.
Yes, man, I understand that.
Social work.
So I'm asking about the membership, though, of the Social Work Association, whether a lot of the members are involved in the type of community social work that you'll be having at the fair.
There are social workers who are involved in the agencies who will be at the fair. As I said, Ministry of Labor and Social Services will be here. The Jamaica Constabulary Force will be here, and there are social workers who work with the police, so they'll be here as well. There are persons from the Heart NTA that will be here, and they also have social workers who focus on education assessment and so on for clients that we serve. There are social workers that work in the legal areas, which would be the probation officers and so on. So social workers will be represented based on the agency in which they are working.
How many social workers are a part of the Social Workers Association? How many social workers are there in the country?
I can't give you a definite figure of how many social workers are in the country, because we have different EXED, University of the West End, producing social workers every year.
Yes.
So I can't give you a general figure of how many. Our membership ranges, we have 500 registered members. But then on our Facebook page, we have 2,000 persons on our Facebook page. Not all of them are registered members of the association. And we're encouraging persons to be registered members of the association.
Can I ask it another way? Do you believe in your capacity as president of this association that Jamaica has enough social workers?
We have enough social workers. We're just not being employed in the social work positions that are available in the country. And a lot of our social workers train and leave and go. The brain drain happens.
Are enough positions in the country?
Yes, there are positions.
So why aren't the social workers being
positions that should be served by social workers, that the social workers are not being employed in those positions?
Wow. I can imagine, because it costs more to hire a social worker. They might just hire somebody who can get the admin tasks done.
Thank you very much, Orrett. It would be easier to employ somebody who's not professionally trained, because it costs less to pay that individual than to pay a trained professional.
You
but our
can.
focus today is on the fair that is happening
Yes, but
tomorrow.
we'll have to have another conversation about how the social workers can become a part of the Prime Minister's Zozo solution, because we thought I must tell you, listeners, draw close to your radio because I've been deadly serious. We thought that when the Prime Minister announced something like Zozo, that him go and bring down social workers in communities to do work and ease crime, you would have been contacted and there would have been consultation and there would have been talk about how your membership can become part of these various agencies. That type of meeting hasn't taken place at all with someone like you?
We have not had that meeting, but we're negotiating to have that meeting.
Enough said. No. When the law did not pass, you don't hear what we're saying? We're saying the Prime Minister promised that social workers would be on the ground in these communities when Zozo and all of that was being rolled out. And you, the President...
The yard initiative by the ministries, the various ministries, they have, on a short-term basis, employed social workers to go out and
that is not the same. That is not the same thing. But we'll talk about the fear, because we'll have to have another discussion about the bigger things. The fair is tomorrow, April 9. The Hill Selassie. The last time my apologies. Yes, the last time I was there.
We're open to the public at 10 o'clock. And we are providing services from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the PAD office, the NIS, RGD. We're asking people to remember to bring their TRN and their ID in order to process whatever business that they have.
I see that you have PAD, NIS, RGD, TRN, EOJ, training and employment talks, business support, parenting support. How the parenting support part go? What that look like? What your plan?
The National Parenting Commission will be here.
Okay.
So that's where the parenting support is coming from.
Legal aid?
Yes, Ministry of National Security, the Victim Support Unit, that falls under the legal aid section of things.
Okay, and of course you'll have health.
And South East Regional Health Authority will be here as well. That's why we talk about the health aspect of things.
I must tell you, I was saying the last time that I was at Hill Selassie, it was the visit of Ephraim Selassie. Please forgive me if I can't remember his first name. Mota Baruka was there.
The great-great-grandson.
Yes, that's right.
Of the founder of our school. That's why the school is called Haile Selassie.
Yes.
Because he donated.
I got a wonderful white T-shirt from his team with him sitting on Mr. Selassie's lap as a little boy. A picture, photograph is embossed on the T-shirt. But I can't find it. I must tell you, I must visit Hill Selassie one day to find it. It can't be tomorrow when you have your fair. And listeners, I'll remind you again, tomorrow the people at Hill Selassie High School are having a fair, and it's for the Painland community, the community around it.
Painland and surrounding communities. Because our students are from Painland, our students are from Majestic Gardens, our students are from Seaview, our students are from Walton Park Road, so the surrounding Spanish Town Road. So we're inviting parents to come and avail themselves of the various services that are being offered.
Olympic Way, Tower Hill, terrible death rock Tower Hill the other day. A lot of social intervention required in those communities.
So the social services are here, so they can come and access those services. And
it's important work. It's important.
Remember, EOJ is also going to be here as well.
Yes, I had mentioned that. So anybody wanting to deal with the TRN, the EOJ identification, anything to do with RGD, NI or PATH, turn up. The Ministry of National Security has partnered with the Ministry of Education and Youth, and they're all putting these agencies together for the people of the community surrounding Painland. And we would want to see more of it take place in more communities across the country. So the fees and all of that they would normally have to pay when they go to these agencies, do they have to pay it when the agencies come to them at a fee?
Yes, they would have to pay those fees.
So listeners, walk with your fee same way. Fee don't waive. Agency come to you, say don't save your fare. Fee don't waive. I must tell you, the other day, I was out by the tax office. And I know you have nothing to do with tax office, but we're just talking fees and all them things. And I'm making people realize how easy you making it for them out by here. So that's it. The other day I went to the tax office. Simple thing. I think I was helping someone to get a learners. I wasn't in the line, thank God. But the person was in the line over 3 hours. Spanish Town tax office. Over 3 hours, nearly 4. Vendors outside tell me, Mr. Montague, if you did come here last week, you would have seen when one lady dropped down. Over 4 hours she waited in the sun. Eh? And all they did was rush the lady to the hospital.
They don't have to come and wait in the sun tomorrow.
There you go.
They don't have to come and wait. The services are being brought to them.
Very good.
Easy, accessible to them. So come and avail yourself of the services.
Yes, please. I thank you very much for the contribution this morning. I will encourage listeners surrounding the Haile Selassie High School. And as you rightly said, you're talking Olympic Way, you're talking Majestic Gardens, you're talking Seavright, eh?
Yes, sir.
How far you go Seaview? Seaview people must can reach Painland. It's not that far a stretch.
Yes, they can, but they have students coming from Seaview.
So they must can reach Painland. You're talking 2 mile. Greenwich Farm people can come to. Just one.
Yeah, Greenwich Farm people can come to.
There you go. So you can turn up and deal with your path, deal with your NI, talk to the RGD, deal with TRN, EOJ, all of that. Plus, liquor training and business support and parenting support. Those are not from agencies, those are from the actual NGOs, yes? Yes, and some legal aid and all that. Thank you so much for the contribution.
And the Heart NTA will be here to assist with the training and so on.
Okay, so the Heart Trust NTA will be there as well to connect young people. Unattached young people, major part of the problem.
Adults as well, not only young people.
True.
Adults as well. If you're working in a particular field and you have not had the qualification, you can come and speak to them about how you can get the qualification. If you have been years in the field and you don't have the qualification, you can also come and speak to the Heart about that.
My listeners will want you to tell them when things like this can be replicated. Not you will have to tell them, though, it's the ministry. But we look forward to hearing how tomorrow turns out. I thank you very much for the contribution. We have to speak again in your capacity, though exclusively as president of the Jamaica Social Workers Association.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I thank you very much for the contribution this morning.
You're welcome.
Listeners, wonderful lady, eh? We thank her for the contribution. I know she came on a little bit of headache in the first part. Miss Jacqueline Bryan, the president of the Social Work Association. We didn't go into no conversation with her her colleague in this. We got a lot of information from her and we're happy. Listeners going to be vexed. I must apologize. We did promise to open the phone lines early this week. We'll open the phone lines now. In the break, we'll give away some credit and we'll see how we feel as the conversations proceed. I'm Orrett Montague, JA speaking. You're tuned to Best 100 FM. Don't go nowhere.
All I know is God is all. Protect your life if you wanna know. Evil people will kill us slow. We'll be right back.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Hello?
Nadine?
Yeah?
Me just pick up one Maxfield Easterbourne up by supermarket phone.
One Maxfield, but nah go do.
Nadine, that is all I could afford.
Uncle Pat, Daddy, and Jeffrey only eat bun back. And bun only come with front back and back back. So where next back I go come from?
If you want more Maxfield Easterbun, go up at the supermarket or check maxfieldbakery.com.
Yeah, I forgot send credit for put on service then.
Come on from my phone. Sure. Maxfield Easterbun. Tweet to the max.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bess FM. Keep listening.
Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, and lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record label at Gmail. Almighty Jah! Praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him. And the no name of try to tie me up. And the no name of try to mix me up. So them evil, so them lie, so them cover up. Scheming and them planning, but we not give up. Jehovah and the one way ya hold me up. In the Father we put first and Jaja they done with the name done. Jaja super cat him come and then you with dada. They done shit there. Done mama, wicked and evil Jack confess slaughter. Cool way in the way and the whole scripture. I live all faith and night and the holy water. The need not the Glock, light on chopper. It's 66 for the lap and when the pain over. You will see in the missile. I am Jaja, he won't do demon in a corner. He don't face enough to say attempt to fight back. The blue and them mature and them full and big chat. I say you're 54 one, go read up that. None of them will find them can't prosper.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
Best 100 FM.
And love more, 'cause you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Best 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday. Giving you the better vibes, heard everywhere.
Some things that watch me fly on Jamaica.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Reggae get Grammy again, I do understand. Grammy one more time. I know political, I can know the cook and the crack. A reggae put Jamaica on top. You know here I know political, I can know the cook and the crack. A reggae put Jamaica on top. Me say me don't talk already, I may not take it back. You can tell the whole world say the rebels say that. This is no assumption, this is concrete fact. Reggae send Jamaica straight up on the world map. Stop a little and think, put on your thinking cap. Which event in a Jamaica big like reggae sunsplash. Who established over the world like
Boy, I tell you,
hear these things in mind.
it's just the truth. It's just the truth. And happy I'm around some young people, a lot of young people. I'm around a lot of young people who are tied into this reggae thing. They think, oh, it can make me little money. So, like Ranko. I play Ranko. We play Ranko song already, don't? Yes, we play Ranko. And Ginseng is the youth that dropped the jailhouse the night. And so Bones and Fire Reds. I think Fire Reds came up in Magnum Kings and Queens one time. Yes. So I am quite in tune with how young people continue to strive to enter the industry. It is sad that there's a belief that it has to be violent and nasty. It's not every young person believe that, but most, I must tell you, have a view that at least one or two dirty things must enter the arsenal for them to be able to compete in the industry. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the quality of the final product that gets awarded a Grammy. And it went to Soulja this year. Welcome to the program. Morning.
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 How are you?
I'm not bad.
Yeah, man. I just listening news and watch what's going on, this week, And, listening some insert. Yeah. About the breakaway from the Queen. Why, to me, I don't feel that about me right now. Did you remember that the Queen called Andrew Wallace and give him one appointment? What appointment again? What did they give him?
To Her Majesty's Privy Council.
So where more go?
Her Majesty's Privy Council?
Yes.
and now the boss. Wait. The boss just last week tell Prince William that time soon come. And this week the boss pushing up him foreign minister to be head of the Commonwealth.
What a laughing stock is this? What a laughing stock about
and
changing the Queen. What a laughing stock.
And then to add suggestions that Baroness Scotland's alleged corruption are reasons to move against her. Boy, the Prime Minister have some people in him cabinet that him could move against faster than Baroness Scotland. Him don't need no election for that. Him can just tell them to resign because there's perception of corruption around them. Go on.
My friend said to me what
the Prime Minister want to clean up house, clean up the cabinet before you clean up CARICOM. And I don't know if the people go and trust that someone from your cabinet go and bring no cleanness to CARICOM.
No, hold on there. They have to change
sorry,
from
not
the cabinet.
CARICOM, my apologies. The Commonwealth.
Yes. We have to change from the cabinet to the break front.
Oh.
The cabinet is an old cabinet.
Yeah.
With crack in there. You have to go to the break front, the bigger one, the broader one. So then we stop talking about cabinet and talk about the break front. Because all this talking about taking away, and the Queen can say, come here, me out. Hold this, you're on this, So right now, you're a part of me. You're my grandson.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't betray your mother.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to send somebody to go represent. I think one of the person out of the Commonwealth, them, a small country, must say, talk against that. Oh, them are going to push up she and they never know about it. My brother said something to me, and I look at it. He said, do you see the difference? You see any difference between Putin and the Prime Minister? He said, not really.
No, man, there's
why would you find a push strength for push and
no,
who want to take it?
Yeah, we mustn't take these discourses so far. Some of the things happening are terrible. The things happening for the revelations that come out of Butcher. Oh, no, you can't really take it so far.
No, we're talking about it. I think you were emphasizing and taking orders or listen to people. Because Ponti don't listen to nobody. Same thing with Andrew don't listen to nobody. So we're looking on that perspective. I'm not calling opposition to say, all right, we're going to do this, let's go ahead and do it. So we're not going on that part there with that atrocity and what's going on over there. Over in Ukraine. We wanted to stop, but that look like it's bigger than me and you.
Yeah, that's bigger than me and you. We really going to have to run, Charlie. But that really is indeed, in honesty, bigger than me and you. But Jamaica took a position. And
But the man where I put the two mouth in and put the foot in it, you know.
I respect the position.
Member.
I thank you very much for the contribution.
Yes.
Thank you for the contribution. Listeners, we're going to read some messages and keep the phone lines open. 619-1508, 279-8473, the numbers to call. Who this? Please ask Major Smith, as an ex-military man, what he thinks about the war in the Ukraine. Well, that conversation ended. I thank you for the contribution, though. The glaring disconnect from reality. Poor service delivery. Oh, my God. 3 hours in a tax office line. Poor service delivery. How to overcome. Yes, we're going to have to ask how we can overcome this absolute wickedness. And to think, the vendors tell me that a lady stood in that line and passed out, faint way, in the line, rushed her to hospital just months before. And they did bring in a tent, and people are sitting now under the tent, so you're not really waiting in no sun of such again, but you're still waiting hours. And you wonder how much pay and why the manager of the Spanish Town tax office is there. How much pay him get? Why is he there? Because if he's there to bring about efficiency for taxpayers, then he's failing. And you can imagine his carrier money. Is who for friend? This man is somebody friend. It's smarty friend. Listeners must be smarty friend, because nobody could run your business so inefficiently and stay there. If you had a wholesale and you see customers waiting outside that wholesale for 2 hours, and you have big manager and big pay at that wholesale, you would have keep paying the manager. You wouldn't run him and hire somebody else to run your wholesale. They treat you worse than the people that run wholesales. Because not even at wholesale would you have to stand up 3 hours for little service. And they have the government's coffers for pay. The people at wholesale going home with pittance. Them don't have no benefits, and they can't leave you standing for hours. Welcome to the program. Morning.
Morning, Bra Monty, what going?
Not bad. Morning.
Credit there, you know. Mr. Smith look like him lose it this morning, though.
Well, I didn't agree with the music comment at all, if that's what you're talking about.
I can't irredeemable the youth them.
Say that again.
The irredeemable way where I think of the youth them. Kind of lose it this. I hope when him come back next time, him come look better.
You hope when him come back next time, come look better. Yeah.
In my country, them is one news on the TV. Some people in my country, them a plan to move them off of one land down there. You see it?
Where?
I went to my country in Jamaica, man.
Where? Which parish?
I don't remember which parish. Mostly some Talia people on the news, some Rasta people.
Some Rastafarians?
Yeah. And one long truck and one tractor there. So them come for bulldozer down the house them.
Oh, you know where that, you know where that was?
I like that. Huh?
I was asking someone else if they're familiar with what you're talking about.
I'm see it what they on the news and it come back last night again. I come like them come with tractor and truck now for bulldozer down the house them. And like the people them get together, them the one know the people them get together, you know. Then check to them out, but the bulldozer them and gone. But the people then get together, you know, I'm not telling you, you know. I see the truck take a retreat out, I come into the celebrating.
It sounds like when the drama kicked off in Quick Step.
Yeah, man. Once the people then get together, man, they can't defend themselves. Because nobody not defend them, you know. You know, so nobody not defend we in Jamaica.
Well, the public defender tries.
No, man, we are talking.
Well,
yes, they call the woman, you know. The
DPP, Paula Llewellyn.
Yes, boy, I tell a man, she's small man. I tell a man,
some people think that the DPP really should be given term limits, like 2 terms.
And a term limit, man, I just she to resign.
Okay.
If she see the people them against what she do, why she not resign? She not have no mind, man. And that you know. And she not business. You know, see how that I go on the February Monty?
Well, I hear you.
Same like how the teacher get paid for do maths, to teach maths. And one get paid for teach students. And so Paula go on like she just get paid for keep young black people.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that assessment, but sometimes I do question the things that she has done. Like, for example, in the matter that was brought to our attention by Les Green before he left the country. That important matter he was chasing that sort of drew in James Robertson, and that was connected to people in Jamaica having to claim asylum in the United States and who are now under protection from the U.S. government. I don't know. Some very serious things have been left to the side by the DPP, but we wait to hear how she rules on the matter of the police. The policeman and woman's daughter, child rather, that was left in the car. So we wait to hear how she rules on certain things, because we know that we're not ruling come for the lady who left her 2 in the house in St. James and who perished in the fire.
I want to think the people my rule against the people in Pan Man. You see all the Indies from them,
Yes.
Them show up for them color too, you know.
I hear you. I have to run though. I have to go to. Thank you for the contribution.
But I can't tell them, Sefi, if them not do their work for them, for help the people.
Them for resign.
Better than just resign, my brethren. Just go one side and low with no man.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. Welcome to the program. Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, morning, boss.
I don't know if you could explain the thing we're going on with Johnson Smith. I try to understand it, but it is not as clear to me. We're going with the CARICOM and Johnson Smith, the government, Genesis.
When you say we're going with the Johnson Smith, what do you mean?
No, I don't understand it. I don't understand it clearly.
You don't understand that Johnson Smith is bidding to become the Secretary General of CARICOM?
Oh, the Secretary General. So what those persons do, that person would do?
The Secretary General of CARICOM would deal with all the matters of the treaties, the agreements surrounding CARICOM, ensuring that they're being implemented, doing the administrative work, organizing the meetings of the members, etc.
So because I wonder, why is a big deal? Why is it bring such a,
Well, it's bringing some division in CARICOM, because remember, the Commonwealth doesn't just, we keep saying CARICOM, so it's bringing some division in CARICOM, because let us remember that the Commonwealth doesn't just include the Caribbean. The Commonwealth includes Australia, the United Kingdom, some African territories. You get the drift. And the belief is that the Caribbean should unite behind one person, because if we don't, then we might end up losing a Caribbean person being at the top of CARICOM, at the top of the Commonwealth. My apologies, keep mixing the two. At the top of the Commonwealth.
Okay, but the Commonwealth are run by the Queen.
Yes.
The Commonwealth is all of those countries that was controlled by the Queen, or you have a government.
Yes, it is why we're surprised that 1 week or 2 after telling the Queen's grandson bye-bye ahead of time, you come and you're defending big posts at the Commonwealth.
Well, you see, you could say bye-bye, I see you soon.
It looks like that is what is taking place. But yes, it's not nice, and let us remember, we had some toss-ups with Johnson Smith. You remember the debacle that she had with Lambert Brown?
Right.
I don't know. we're not comfortable with siding with a side that believes that Baroness Scotland is corrupt. There are some allegations that Baroness Scotland has been doing some extravagant unnecessary spending, and some arguments coming from Jamaica's quarters is that she's therefore corrupt and must be removed. I think that those in Jamaica's circles making that argument should very well remove the people here with much bigger stains than Baroness Scotland.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's up to you to determine how important it is. How important is it? Distraction?
But the whole government full of corruption, man. Full of corruption.
Look like they can't find any seat. They can't find any seat for Camina. Poor Camina. They can't find any seat for your Camina. They can't find no seat for Camina. So it's off to Commonwealth.
Oh, you mean a seat as in a member of parliament?
Yes. You don't know that when you're senator, you're just serving at the Prime Minister's honor.
Right.
I have to run.
For them stain coming like banana.
Can't wash out. Thank you for the contribution, Michelle.
Yeah,
Michelle go and vex because Michelle know that she can wash out banana stain. She go and say, Monty, oh you say that. Good morning, Michelle. I hope that all is well. The phone lines open 619150827984773. We're still on text message. The manager at the tax office have a boss. Yes, it's the boss. We're loading up. Perry is the pirate PT3, and thank you very much, Earl Brown. Monty, why you bring on guests and they don't toe your line? You and your sheeps criticize them. Finzi was on point this morning. All right. You notice this one always swim against the crowd. I thank you for the contribution. What philosophy underpinning the Jamaican society? I don't know. The tree of freedom must constantly be watered with the blood of tyrants. I read that somewhere. This argument about freedom is cliche citizen. Cliche citizen. What philosophy underpin? Well, I thought that out of many one people was our motto. So that is a statement of equality. So all are equal. And I mean, we had a great fight to be free. It is why our flag shows us so black and proud. Hardship they are, yes, but still we're shining. Welcome to the program. Morning. Land is green, sun is shining.
Mr. Monty O, Franco from St. Bess, where you say?
Not bad. Morning, boss.
Bless up, man. I don't know Westmoreland, Africa. The African did ask about the people that were getting moved off of land. And
is out in Westmoreland?
Yeah, man. Somewhere out in Westmoreland.
Let me put the West.
I tell you, that's some things that we have to with people, you know.
Where in St. Elizabeth you from?
I'm near Monroe, too far from Monroe, in between Monroe and Santa Cruz.
Okay. St. Elizabeth's so vast.
Yeah, man. I like how my warrior Nzinga King I fight the thing, yo. That's my warrior, yo. My granddaughter, that's my daughter, my sister, my granddaughter, that's love her, I send her some key fight in Babylon, You hearing me, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hoping that you get some compensation. I was joking with an officer the other day that you might have a lot of Rastas now losing their hair in jail and getting compensation. Well, let us, in all seriousness, what took place was out of order. It's a shame that the DPP didn't see it that way, that it at least warranted some deep investigation and hope for deeper investigation. I hope that something can come out of the case that the public prosecutor is suggesting. We should talk to her about it.
Yeah, man, I want Nzinga for character deeper than that. I want to have the Constitution change. I tell you that what atrocity we are suffering, my brother. Trust me, me feel the hands of Babylon,
There you go.
I tell you, so when me hear about how Babylon when the taxi you to the handcuff and shot and then something, trust me, me feel the Babylon, you know, yo.
But you must understand that you own Babylon. So you mustn't, you see the Babylon that you have here, you own it. So because you own it, if it give you a problem, you must move it. And you must, when you're moving it, tell it why. So that when its replacement comes, it knows that if it repeats, it's going to be removed too. If you want to be radical, then you can push to move it early through early elections, through protests. But it cannot be through anything else. Because we want to keep building on what our ancestors left. And you see how you can mash up place when you start to fight? Look over in Ukraine. You don't want to mash up place.
Mr. Montague, I shall Babylon had them things so good. That my own brother and sister they use and I with me. You know, Babylon now with me them sharp again, you know. And my own brother and sister and neighbor, them are people who blacker than me.
That is what I'm saying. Is your own kind. Is your own kind. So you can move it.
My brother, my own sister. Remember, so Babylon, I think that Babylon just give them rumpy drink and look stupidness and look hype and look things.
Money and class. So divide and conquer. Money and class.
Huh?
Money and class. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, man, that Babylon use and have my brother and sister, them are with me, yo. My brother and sister, them would have killed me for nothing at all. Because they stupid.
And I must tell you, you must careful. You're saying Babylon again. There was a time, a long time in fact, when you could go see Rastafarians, people with twists, with dreadlocks, working in the British banks as teller, and you wouldn't see it here. So you can, and there are British schools where for years children can go with their braids, and here it's a problem. So you can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We trying to Babylon.
Yeah, but it's just a system that they have set up, man. That's what I'm saying, man. For real, man. They use things and use us against one another. And we don't see that. We're blind to that.
But you keep saying it is we doing it because we're in charge of our own destiny. I have to run. I thank you very much for the contribution.
I can't get none of the credit, man. Send me some of the credit, man.
Leave your number with the engineer. Listeners, we're running to the break. Don't go anywhere. Stay with Bess.
Yeah, man.
When the rain hits up on the roof, herb just a steam pepper pot on the stew. Life is a dream if you got gratitude, so go tell the regime them can't stop where
we'll be right back.
There will be days when you're too tired to move, to drive, but you think you have to, because your vehicle won't wash itself, right? But no, you don't have to visit a car wash. 123 Mobile Car Wash will come straight to you. Yes, you heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
Hello?
Nadine?
Yeah?
Me just pick up one Maxfield Easterbourne up by supermarket phone.
One Maxfield, but nah go do.
Nadine, that is all I could afford.
Uncle Pat, Daddy, and Jeffrey only eat bun back. And bun only come with front back and back. So where the next back I go come from?
If you want more Maxfield Easterbourne, go up at the supermarket or check maxfieldbakery.com.
Yeah, for the send credit for put on service then.
Come on from my phone. Sure. Maxfield Easterbourne. Tweet to the max.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
It's my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bess FM. Keep listening.
He's coming back.
Yes, indeed, it's redemption redemption time with Apostle Clive Campbell, presenting a life-changing, life-challenging message to encourage, inspire, and motivate you towards your destiny. Every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. and on Saturday from 9 o'clock until 10, right here on Best 100 FM. It's redemption time.
I'm standing firm.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Yeah, Otto. Yeah, Jelly Buds. Oh, yeah. Unruly, you know? Yeah. Lose a couple friends and start with more. Greatness man I ignore. Fully outside man no indoor. I grade a kick like a with more. Otto, drop it up like a C4.
Welcome back. JA is speaking. I'm your host, Orrett Montague, and we come to you live from the studios of Best 100 FM. We're getting the better vibes. We're going back to the phone lines, 619-1508, 279-8473, the numbers to call. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Montague. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir. The lady that lady who here was trimming the prisoner, right? Once it can't be proven that she trim her hair or she give consent for it to be done, I think it's going to cost the taxpayers, and despite the difference of legal opinion between the DPP and the public defender.
Yes, hello.
You seem to be distracted, Mr. Montague.
Yes, I'm saying something to someone else. You are right. I was distracted. Say that again, please.
No, I'm saying, sir, if it cannot be proven that the lady gave consent for her to be trimmed or she did it herself in the lockup, then the taxpayer has to foot that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the difference of legal opinion between the DPP and the public defender. So question, the police, year come, it has been costing taxpayers millions, hundreds of millions of dollars because of some diligence on the part of civil public servant, and most of them still remaining in job. So what go on? If I may ask the political director, they are the engine of the whole thing, you know.
Well, the truth is, the young lady should be compensated. The young lady.
But she has to be, you know, once it can't be proved, I don't want to repeat that as she did it.
But she should be believed. She should be believed. She should be believed.
So what? So why when the public servant, whether police or technocrat, why when they cost taxpayers a whole heap of money, here come they still remain in their job?
Well, some of them are interdicted, etc.
Interdicted. The gentleman said the constitution must change. If the constitution even change and the people are not vigilant, you know, to see that things work out as it ought to be, you know, we're going to be back at square one, you know, and if the dreadlocks know that. All right. We need people who can hold account to manage our affair here. Second thing, the war in the Ukraine. I think some leadership need to be shown now before anything goes further. And I think the best person to do that is Mr. Vladimir Putin, his name.
Yes, Mr. Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, because I think he felt insulted by Mr. Biden's remarks the other day, despite the fact that Mr. Biden might have withdrawn it. I think there's a bigger picture, Mr. Putin. The advancement of China. I think Mr. Obama said some time ago that China has become their strategic competitor. Both on earth and and some other started. And anything the West can do, China can almost do it now, you know.
I would agree.
Yes, they are doing what?
I would agree.
Yes, so some leadership need to be shown, and I think Mr. Putin should show that.
But the West can't. But the Chinese can't network like the West.
No, a divided Europe can't contain the advance of China, you know.
There you go.
Biden,
that is my
look
point.
like that that side.
And the Russians have done all necessary. It depends on how you look at what is taking place, because some analysts see what is taking place in the Ukraine as a rollback of years of Chinese attempts to build international power, because NATO was largely silent. Mr. Trump in 4 years watered it down. And of course, Europe wasn't united, certainly not in its voice against China. They couldn't even unite in bringing sanctions for what is taking place in the Wuhan against the Uyghur Chinese. So I don't know. You're quite right. This is bringing a moment of unity in Europe, and that means China can't really stand up against them like they used to be able to before.
But the leadership has to come from Putin. He has to look at the bigger picture now. I talk like I'm a white man still, but if Chinese ever reach one top, you know, we are the black man that back as we are now, probably to really more still.
Well, Mr. Putin most certainly has a lot of problems on his hands.
I don't think he have a lot of problem. You know what he should do is just withdraw and look on something much bigger. That they look really don't want to reclaim. A few countries where they want to reclaim, and after they look mix up in 1989 with when Mikhail Gorbachev, Boris Yeltsin along with the help of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. Do that thing you want to reclaim, but he has to bypass that now, you know, because China too powerful for them to beat them where they know, you know.
Indeed.
Anyway, you big up yourself.
Thank you for the contribution. Interesting assessment, because it seems Mr. Putin has already sided with China, but interesting.
No, I beg to differ, but okay. That's an opinion. Big up yourself.
Okay, thank you for the contribution.
Okay, sir.
Welcome to the program. Morning.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Morning, Shep. I hope all is well.
Yeah, man. Last week, I look fitting and I tell him to come to me.
I'm sending it to you while we're talking, because him don't want you to bring him out to me.
Okay. Yeah, man. Look, you know, this thing here, we can't really understand. We can't ever hear about it. I mean, no, so when you conflict with the law, you can't go in a public. You can't deal with civil. You can't in a government work. Now tell me something. They call me here as a guy, they call himself as something. You understand? Tell me say Bustamante did commit murder. Did you hear of that? Do you know of that?
No, I don't know of that.
Good, because Jerry Sumal, I tell him some kind of road, you ever see when you chop up things that you know half cook and half cook, cook, and some cook and some no cook, so they only want to hear the words about things. We tell them what Bustamante have done for the people, because he fight for poor people and for a little bit more bread and a little bit more butter, and then put him at jail for that. And the boy want come tell me all kind of thing happen. Government is build 300 school and all those things, and nothing no goes up. Because for the 10 years when we get independent, the more school bill, it was under the Jamaica Labour Party. You understand? Now when we tell him that, he might come talk about somebody school the thief. I mean, no, how it's going on, bridging. You don't have Prattville, you say? It was a school for bill. It's a school and a cottage bill down there. We should him take one of these schools and should have build one of a cottage, same place down there. I tell them, say, because I wasn't actually I learned trade and anything. I did finish learn trade because I did get it wrong. And different also. And when we check it out, a cottage they put on down there. And that's what cost 61 school for bill and a 60 bill. And then take it up like when you see it.
I must tell you, I sort of remember it differently. I know that they received one of the largest loans that was given at the time from the World Bank, and I know that half of the money wasn't spent appropriately, so that only half of the schools that they were to build were built, and so we ended up with the shift system as a result, and the plan, which was to educate the people so that they would reach a stage, a capacity to be able to repay the loan, didn't materialize.
But the amount of school was supposed to build for the 10 year at 61 and a 61 and a 60 bill.
And that was below the World Bank target. That was below what was promised to the World Bank when the approach was made to build the school. So they built half of what was required. That is my understanding of what took place.
But this government, it was all alike. The money was there still to do work, you know.
Yes, and it was squandered by the government. It was squandered. It wasn't there.
I remember when Mr. Shearer, I don't know if he did, if he can recall, or I don't know if he did have the understanding that when Mr. Shearer come out and says, this one built by labor, that built by labor, and begin to tell you the amount of school that built by labor.
I think it's the Da Costa report. I'm trying to remember the report that came out of that scandal. I think it was the Da Costa report.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
But
wasn't
there
it
are
the
many
Da Costa
things
report,
on which we can't because
Shappy, wasn't it the Da Costa report?
Come back?
The Da Costa report. Is not that report they talk about it?
Yeah, man, with the school them. The school them maybe and build with the World Bank lend with the money and directly.
Well, that same report confirms that the money was stolen and lost and inappropriately used.
There was 60 school implement for the 10-year bill.
I'm not doubting what the target was as announced by government. I'm saying that it is different from what they had committed to the World Bank. So we ended up with less institutions and an inability to repay the loan because people don't reach the educational capacity that we had expected them to. Had it been rolled out properly.
Because we know what, because of what everything did jam up. Because after when more school did to build and they never build, and directly I say go on.
Exactly.
But
I think the boss said the boss
we change at 72 the change make you know. At 72 and we're supposed to go on.
Indeed.
The last time the school have to do take them and turn them in a shift and all those things.
Unfortunately, we ended up with shift schools and in inappropriate or not efficient buildings, etc. We never done. There are schools without proper toilet facilities and all of that.
Well, that is true because when I go to school first time, we never have flush toilet.
And I must tell you, when the World Bank give them the money, all of them things they plan for. But I thank you very much for the contribution.
But the thing about it, you see, even in a home, first time, you know, and late up in the 60s, you know, coming up, you know, about 68 people start to build toilet on the house, you know.
Yes, but even
bathroom and all those things,
even
far away from the house.
Yes, true, but even in the absence of flush toilet, the schools had toilets.
Yes, just late up that so because right now
I would disagree, but I thank you for the contribution.
All right.
I really have to. Yes, welcome to the program. Morning. Oh dear, the caller couldn't wait. Sheppy did getting credit. The caller couldn't wait. My profuse apologies. We have some Nanko dropping in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. A little volume on it so that people can hear it a little. I'll read some more of your messages. I know that people are on the phone night, so I won't take long. I'm waiting for the messages to come up. It is what is with delaying it. I don't see the message come up yet. Wait, your message is coming up. Here we are. Thank you very much for the contribution. O'Neill Lynch says shift schools became necessary because not enough schools were built by the JLP. Indeed, they built half of the institutions. 151 schools were to be built, Sheppy. Well, they built half of whatever was to be built. I'll keep it on and not going to say that. Tell Sheppy that it was not just Prairieville Secondary that was missing. Cross Key Secondary was also missing, indeed. A lot of missing schools. I think Arnold Bertram did a documentary interview with a report that was filed by Trevor Trevor Monroe. You can probably find that video on YouTube, so you can Google that Trevor Monroe report on the education scandal. Sonia Ellis says Little Bay in Westmoreland is the place. So Little Bay in Westmoreland is the place where the people were being evicted. See if we can touch some more information on that. Welcome to the program. Morning.
Morning, Mr. Montague.
Morning.
You must tell Shepherd say must step like on Jerry Smart.
Okay.
My name is Jerry Smart, carry him to the court. Look here, Mr. Montague. You see this war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah.
It is all about to bring in the digital technology for the digital money. It's a proxy. And Vladimir Putin tell you everything before him fire the first shot why I'm going to war with Ukraine. Him write it and tell the world. You follow?
Yes, I am aware of his reasons.
And if our government...
So do you believe him? One of the reasons was that he believed that Nazis were taking over the Ukraine. Did you believe that?
Yes, it's true him talking.
Oh?
The government of Ukraine grant a license to a Nazi party to participate in their election.
Oh no, but Nazi parties are participating in elections all over Europe.
Yeah, but Putin don't want that in our backyard after what went on in World War II.
Oh.
22 million Russians suffered the Holocaust of World War II. 22 million. How many countries could sacrifice so much people in a war? So what happened to the future of the Russian children? You think Jesus will bail them out?
So you support Mr. Putin in his war?
100% I'm behind Russia.
Oh.
Because look here now. You say if our government system was looking out for the people of Jamaica like how Putin looking out for the Russians, we wouldn't have so much crime in our country.
But
our gunmen in Jamaica is worse than Vladimir Putin.
You don't think the lack of crime, in the absence or the relative absence of crime in Russia is because Russian people look after each other and not necessarily because Putin is there?
Mr. Montague, Russia is a very well-developed economy with a lot of opportunities.
Indeed.
Yeah, and they don't run economy like how we run economy in Jamaica, trick up people and separate people and tell people about labor right and PNP with a total injustice system. But the question I want to ask you before I leave, when is the government of Jamaica, led by Andrew Wallace, going to educate the people about the needs bill that they plan to introduce later this year? When they're going to do it? Did they get money to do it? Although the needs that they're planning to come with, when they're going to educate the people of Jamaica about it?
They've been discussing it in the Parliament from time to time, as you
Parliament? How they may ring it on the radio like how they ring the COVID virus at them. So that people can know, say, they might come to seize their money and watch their money and every transaction with them make. How them not tell the people them that? They might come with some puss in a bag, something from people money.
Well, we don't know, but what we do know is that they spent, I think they allocated $1.6 billion to NID. It needs in about 2020 it was. Yes, and most of that was on public education, or a lot of that. So I'm surprised you're saying that there's not been much public education. That's a lot of money to be spending on
but let me ask you this.
To not be seen.
The NIDS bill was trained in the rubbish heap by the Chief Justice of Jamaica.
Yes,
how comes it not go back before the court for vetting before they plan to bring it in?
Because the bill don't need to go to the courts for vetting, it just needs to go before.
No, because the opposition now is in line with the NIDS now, and the tobacco of the Jamaican people to turn them into some dead slave, which is worse than what Vladimir Putin doing in the Ukraine. They're not telling the people that.
I think Vladimir Putin has tighter systems than the NIDS.
And listen this now, the JPS boss tell Andrew Wallace last night to remove the fuel tax from tax because the bill system with them have up there, they know say not credible. And they know what him doing to Jamaican people and the business. I want the fans you always listen to what he must say. When capitalist friend are telling.
I hope that they remove it. I heard the appeal. I don't know when Mr. Pandui told them to raise the minimum wage because it looked bad. $2,000 go for minimum wage. So let us.
2,000.
Wasn't it 2,000?
Look here, a three institution them need to defunct.
Hold on, man. I want you to get the point that I'm making. I said when Mr. Pandui, everybody was telling Mr. Holness that and co that the minimum wage had to increase. When Mr. Pandui said it's 2,000 company. So we hope that when the JPS man say drop the tax from gas, it will be done.
Look here, you see the inflation that going on in Jamaica now?
I have to run, but
you see the inflation that going on in Jamaica right now?
Quick never, yeah.
It is created by the Andrew Holness government. Me say from name never.
All right, my boss.
They worse than Vladimir Putin.
All right, my boss. Thank you very much for the contribution. Blame bro God. Blame bro God. That's him say. Welcome to the program. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Monty O.
Morning.
Yeah, man, from a never talk, you know, him could have talk. I don't really mind, but anyhow.
All right, my boss. Yeah.
Me I say, I'm glad how your career calm when name I make him know say 151 school it for bill. And Buster man to charge for manslaughter, not murder, manslaughter. You understand? So anybody can check out. Buster man to charge for manslaughter out of East. When lead some man, lead a gang go out there and kill a man. Right?
I mean, I like to leave the history for people like Jerry Small, but even in the creation of the PNP, of the JLP, sorry, when Mr. Buster Monty was on the verge of making that decision, some of the thoughts came about whilst he was incarcerated, and we don't know if he have any visit from anybody who might have whispered in his ears that it might be a good idea when you come out.
Yeah, all that too, yeah. You understand? But anyhow, what I call about mostly is tell me something.
Yes.
Why Tabby Diamond 9 night couldn't go on? What kind of thing this Jamaica come to? Eh? You have 12,000 police and 5,000 soldiers. And Tabby Diamond, a man like an icon like Tabby Diamond dead, and him 9 night couldn't go on. And you have a big station just like bottom side, Tabby Diamond house, which was Tabby Diamond dead, plus a headquarter, a Huntsby, and Tabby Diamond 9 o'clock. Them lock off Tabby Diamond. After a man called me from Jane and Finch, Canada, said them a keep up something with Tabby Diamond up there. A man called me from London, said them a keep up something London for Tabby Diamond. A man called me from Amsterdam. So them a keep up something for Tabby Diamond, and a man call me from New York. So all over the world them a keep up something for Tabby Diamond, and nothing couldn't keep up at Jamaica. Which part the man dead? And the man's an icon. And where Jamaica come to, man?
Well,
and the commissioner get $18 million a year. And the commissioner couldn't form a plan and say, all right, we are going to put 6 police or 7 police there then. Since them feel like, man, I'll come shoot it up. And Tabby Diamond and a gunman. So man come shoot up in 9 nights. So it's a reach a level now.
I must tell you, some of the information is that that Tabby's son, who is very influential in the area.
No, that's what they must say. But if they must so hold on. So you have to make 2 gunmen. I can dead and you can't keep him 9 nights.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. There is no force in the country that could have prevented the state from keeping the 9 nights safe. So they just clearly didn't want to do it. If they wanted to keep it safe, it would be kept safe.
Yeah, I bet if the one police dead are somebody influential. When I say influential, I mean politicians.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. They would have the 9 night would be big. 9 night would have big.
These are the things we are going on in this country. Every day is something worse and worse are going on in this country.
I have to run though. I thank you very much for the contribution.
Blessed.
Yes, and the boss is right. They should have allowed the 9 night. They should have pushed it. They should have protected the people who would be there, but they didn't. They chose to cower. Such is the state of Jamaica today. I'm going to read some more messages and take it out of here because we're up on that time. It is 2 minutes before 10 o'clock. Poor service delivery, I tell you already. O'Neill Lynch says, by that vote. Which vote? Morning, Orrett. Best 100 FM family, all on board. Positive vibes as always. Greetings, Takwel Mecca. We thank you very much for that contribution. I'm not going to read that one. I'm not going to read that one. I'm not going to stay at Sheppy Duns. Tell Sheppy that it was not just, we read that one already. Ask him where is the money. Shift schools became necessary because not enough schools were built by the JLP. Read that the case of when the monkey climbs in behind exposed will be the scenario. One will watch at as El Zingas turn up the fire upon them, alright? The Russians will not go down. The egos are too strong on both ends, alright? Leadership has part to do with social behaviors as well, alright? In the case of why the crime rate in Russia is not high, different from JA where crime, classism exists. And Mr. Orrett, please check your email before you close the show. I have to close the show now and I didn't get to check it. My profuse apologies, Mr. Brown, running out of here. We want to say thanks, Ms. Jacqueline Bryan, the president of the Jamaica Social Work Association, Mr. Clyde Giordini, political commentator, the Reverend Hero Blair Jr., People's Pastor, your pastor, Mr. Edgerton Newman, the head of TODS, and of course Robert Finzi Smith. We want to thank the big boss, our engineer, Andre Boyd. Thank you very much, my boss. And up next, the bigger boss, Evil Lion. Don't go nowhere, stay with Bess. I am Orrett Montague. We do it again next week.
The Rasta man, like them no know, say that man a real African. You think me no member, think Ferdinand. And thief in Columbus have a golden plan. They make a wrong turn and end up in Caribbean. One Rasta, no side till nothing Indian. Them turn paradise in a plantation and bring cross one ship load of African. Now here comes the thief in Queen from England. Now she come well and Henry Maga. Then she pant a passenger full of separation. And after 400 years me send a reparation. I know them want to kill me with the taxation, but I beg you please take me to the motherland. I beg you carry me go home. I bring me born a east.
Station Bess 100 FM.